You know who I enjoy in the DC universe? Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They are the Trinity. And what happens in the rest of the Justice League becomes overrun by an alien symbiote taking over their brains, making them fight the Trinity. Well, you're about to find out. Welcome to Trinity Dead Space. Up in space, the Justice League Watchtower has gone silent after something crashed into it. Cyborg systems can't seem to connect, searching for someone to help. And then he finds 3 targets, 3 individuals that he knows can save the Watchtower. Down in Devil's Mouth Falls, Clark, Diana, and Bruce all gather around something that Clark found. Back when they were fighting Mongol in the world of the Black Mercy, there was a young girl who was created. She was known as the White Mercy, and like that world, it was all but a dream created by the Black Mercy. However, what Clark found was something that his younger self carved into the cave walls, each of the 3 symbols. Diana looks at the markings and says, what if that dream world was real? And Bruce finishes telling her that we left her in that nightmare. If you're curious about the Black Mercy, the White Mercy, and Mongol, I will link the first story down below. But before they can question any further, there's a loud boom as a boom tube opens, calling the heroes. As the heroes leave, a voice calls out that it is real. She is real. Back at the Watchtower, Diana says that something is wrong. Cyborg wouldn't have teleported them without a warning. Superman looks around at the destroyed hallways and says that he's pretty sure Cyborg didn't call them for a meeting. And Batman begins to examine one of the vines crawling through the walls, while Diana tells them that they need to hurry. Their friends need help. The 3 of them travel throughout the Watchtower and they find Cyborg fighting off what looks like green constructs. As Cyborg's limbs are torn off of his body, he says that he managed to get them. But Batman says that Cyborg's body is now going offline. Batman tells everyone that they have to try and get down to the escape pods. There, the power runs off of an independent source and they can jumpstart Cyborg from there, but they're gonna have to fight their way there. Diana straps Cyborg to her back and the 3 of them travel down the halls of justice when Superman comes to a door and says, we seem to have run into a problem. Whatever it is, I can't blast through it, and there are hundreds of heartbeats over there. They're afraid, but very much alive. Before anyone can even examine it, the Green Lantern, Simon Baz, and Jessica Cruz punch their way out with aliens attached to their heads. Simon grabs a hold of Superman, shouting what Superman can make out as, "Help me!" Jessica holds out her ring towards Batman, and as it lights up, Diana jumps in the way to deflect the oncoming blast. The hit bounces off of Diana's vambraces, tearing a hole into the side of the Watchtower, causing everyone to be sucked out into space. While Superman and Diana are pulled out, there's a sudden flash and a crack-a-coom as Flash vibrates through the walls, grabbing both Batman and Cyborg. Batman gasps for air, and the Flash tells him, hey, I'm sorry. I know how much you hate to have your molecules disassembled, but your lungs were seconds away from bursting. I was gonna try and grab the others, but they can both hold their breath, so Batman tells him, they'll be fine. Right now, we need to get to the lower levels fast. Flash tells him that he can vibrate them down there, but he's gonna need a minute to recover. So now's a good time to bring him up to speed as to what the heck is going on. Those creatures latch onto a host and they take over their body, which he's been able to stay free of by keeping his molecules in a constant state of separation. Which reminds him, do you have any candy bars in that utility belt, Bruce? Batman shouts, what the hell is going on? So Flash goes back and says that there was a meteor shower that damaged the ship pretty bad. Cyborg brought up a few of us to help with the repairs, and that's when the creatures appeared. Meanwhile, outside of the ship, Superman and Diana notice something else attached to the Watchtower. And inside of it, a being. The being tells the 2 of them not to be alarmed by my intrusion, but your vessel and all of the living things on board have been lost to a viral infection. The virus will spread to the planet below, and the only solution is complete eradication. Back at the Watchtower, there's a sudden crash as Arthur Curry, Aquaman, breaks through the glass with one of the aliens attached to his head. Aquaman grabs onto the Flash and begins to choke him, and Batman jumps onto his back, wrapping him up with silicone wire, shouting, this would hold a normal man, but not an Atlantean, Barry. As Flash gets free, he coughs, telling him, with Arthur's strength, my throat should have been crushed. I should be dead. Batman asks, what are you trying to say? Arthur's holding back. Arthur breaks free of the wires and begins to struggle with the alien on his head, and Flash points out that there is water surrounding Arthur. Batman tells him, I'm way ahead of you, and he pulls out a taser, shocking Arthur and the alien. Batman begins to peel the alien off of Arthur, and Arthur shouts, stop, we have to help them. Back with Superman and Diana, Diana says that there is nothing that he can say that will have them choose the lives of their friends and everyone on that planet. The being then says, despite how it may seem, I'm trying to save the billions of lives on your planet. Every passing second, your ship descends closer to the planet's gravitational pull. Once it falls, it will crash and release the virus. We can save them all by initiating the vessel's self-destruct function, but we will need to get power from the Watchtower. My programming, however, prevents me from leaving my post, which is why you will need to restore power to your Watchtower to allow the destruction of the Watchtower and the virus. Diana says that they reject his proposal, and the being shouts, "You are running out of time!" A projection appears and the being says, "I will show you the destruction that virus can cause. I came from a world of peaceful explorers whose only goal was to learn of the knowledge of the cosmos. Unfortunately, our curiosity brought these creatures back, and they began to infect everything that they touched, ultimately making us turn on each other. The last survivors gathered all of the infected onto this vessel, and once it was a safe distance away, we intended to initiate the self-destruct, but we were caught in a meteor storm. But then there's a shift in the Watchtower as the gravity begins to pull it towards Earth. Back with Batman and the Flash, the effects of the shift throw everyone to the ground, and Batman shouts, "We need to hurry. Cyborg's life signs are slowing down." Flash struggles to keep Arthur down and he says, "You know, we're an unlikely pair. Though we've taken different paths, we've ended up on the same road. The road has always been littered with obstacles, but one thing that got us through it all was family. Go be with your son." Flash begins to create a whirlwind with his arm, pushing Batman and Cyborg through the wall, and Batman shouts, "Don't do it, Barry!" Batman then bangs onto the wall shouting for Barry, but there's no answer. And with that silence, Batman grabs Cyborg and says, "It's just us. We've got one more level to go." Batman then fires a hook into the wall and he places an explosive on it, allowing him to get through. But before the charge can go off, tentacles start to break through that wall, stabbing into Batman, pulling him down. Outside of the Watchtower, Superman tries to push back the ship, telling himself, "Just think of John and Lois." However, just then, Simon and Jessica burst through the walls, telling him, "Help us, help them." Back in the being ship, Diana ties him up as he shouts, "You are wasting time! We have to destroy the vessels. It's the only way. There is no way to understand." Diana runs through the ship stating, she does understand. All life is precious. And then she opens the doors to the aliens. She looks down at them and the alien being shouts, "You are destroying our way of life. Hundreds turn to thousands." As Diana kneels down, she screams, shouting, "Their mother!" She turns back with an alien on her head hissing, yelling back to the being, calling him a monster. Diana jumps back onto the being, now seeing the truth of the aliens. These creatures used to travel through the skies in an endless cycle of life and rebirth. Each cycle triggered a metamorphosis, not just in them, but also in their planet. This traveler, under the guise of exploring, sought to steal the creature's life force due to the explorer's planet's progress being at a standstill. The truth is, they wanted to alter their own world's evolution with these creatures, but they ended up with something that they couldn't control. They have broken an intergalactic treaty that the Green Lanterns were going to enforce, so they attempted to destroy any evidence. Diana charges out of the ship to warn the others, stating that these creatures allowed her to keep her mind, and she will help them. But before she can leave, the being grabs onto her leg and slams her back into the ship, telling her, "We must destroy their ships." He then starts beating on Diana, telling her that they did this to prevent the intergalactic community from discovering their planet's miscalculation. This could lead to war. Diana punches the being off, shouting that what he calls correcting a miscalculation is what they call a massacre. Back in the lower levels, Batman grabs onto Cyborg and jumps down to the escape pod, shutting himself in it. The Queen alien begins to make her way towards that escape pod, shooting a tentacle into the windshield. Batman leans on his back to support the glass with his feet, and he smashes the start button down, shouting, "Come on!" Outside of the Watchtower, Simon and Jessica fight with Superman to stop him, but the heat from the re-entry begins to burn away at the aliens. The two then ask, "Where are we?" But before they can help, they soon pass out from the plummeting depths they're going through. As Superman struggles to stabilize the Watchtower, he smiles when he sees a familiar foot stomp down, and he sees Diana grabbing onto Batman's hook. Batman shouts, asking, "Where were you?" And Diana laughs, telling him, "Aw, you do care." As the Watchtower falls closer to Earth, Superman says that they need a place to set down the Watchtower, and he knows the building that has the strength to do it. Everyone falls down towards Mumbai, India, and Superman and Diana land the ship right on top of the LexCorp branch office. Superman then asks, "What of the Traveler?" And Diana tells him that he was programmed to never leave his ship. He is done. With the ship stabilized, the aliens fall off of Arthur, and Flash runs over shouting, "I knew it! Bats did have snacks in those pouches!" As the Lanterns begin to help push the Watchtower back up, Cyborg wakes up asking, "So, what did I miss?" The next day, Superman, Batman, and Diana go back to Devil's Mouth's Fall, and Diana mentions that the creatures are the creatures known as the Perfect, adapting to their surroundings to survive. They convert the ecosystem around them, and they help make planets better. Clark says that the Perfect aren't a contagion, they're an adaptive symbiotic organism, and for all they know, they were on Earth already. Bruce then asks, So we don't have to worry about anything like alien allergies. Up in the cave, the White Mercy watches, and Diana says that sometimes there is a happy ending until the next adventure can begin. And there you have it, another amazing Trinity storyline. Now, the next one in that story arc is them fighting against a demon version of the Red Hood, and I cannot wait to tell you that story. But if you want to stick around at this channel so you can see that story when it comes out, subscribe right here at Comicstorian. And if you want to see other Justice League-centric videos, click the video playlist right here, and you can also get something else recommended by YouTube right over here, and right down here somewhere should be my subscription face. Don't forget, you can also follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian, where I answer most of your tweets when they make sense. If I don't answer, they didn't make sense, or I just didn't see it. That happens a lot too. But I try my best.